Hey everyone, it's Lena Banks, Certified Financial Planning Professional and Small Business Coach based here in Austin, Texas. Welcome back to your Financial Therapy for the Week. Thanks as always for tuning in. Before we get started, I need to ask you if you've been enjoying the show, please like, subscribe, and give us a review wherever you're listening or watching. I'd really appreciate that. So, we have a great guest today. Welcome, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kelenne.
All right. Hi. So my name, as you said, my name is Kelenne Blake, and I am a Trini woman in Texas who currently is the executive director of Black Mamas ATX, which is a small nonprofit here in Austin that provides doula support, mental health support, wraparound support, and community building for Black women and birthing folks who, are at a higher risk of maternal health disparities.
Yeah.
And so that's the core of my work. That's a lot of my work. And then the rest of my time is spent doing a doctorate in public health at Johns Hopkins University. So
amazing.
I'm just pushing through.
Yes, doing life.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for agreeing to be here today. We've been friends for years, and we were talking before we started, and I was surprised to realize how many years, but time sure flies, and so I just so appreciate you being on the show today. And we're going to start with your origin story episode. So I like to tell people that I have sent you the questions ahead of time, so it's not a complete surprise what I'll ask you about, but it usually ends in some really nice organic conversations, so really appreciate you being here. These are some of my favorite episodes because it really helps me get to know people, and I think it's helpful for other people listening to hear some commonalities in how we all are and how we all kind of relate to money. So you want to just jump in?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a Trini woman here in Texas. And so I grew up really most of my formative years in Trinidad, in rural Trinidad for a lot of it. And so
Describe what rural Trinidad looks like. Yes.
Oh, wow. I grew up in a village where I would walk to school, walk to church, walk to friends. Everything was in walking distance. On one side of our house was a cocoa field.
Wow.
It wasn't ours, but whoever's field it was, they grew cocoa. And so that was a really fun part of my childhood was, growing up next to this cocoa field and experiencing, just nature.
The cycle of that.
Yeah. And there was also a river as well.
It sounds beautiful. It sounds like a lovely, lovely childhood.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very good. I do go back to there in my mind when I need to de-stress.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking the whole time you were telling me about it is, wow, that sounds very simple and in such a lovely way.
Yes, it was a good childhood. I enjoyed it.
That's wonderful. So, what did your financial situation look like? Did your parents ever talk to you about finances? Did they ever kind of share with you how life worked with finances?
They didn't. They were of the mindset that you don't talk to children about finances because the children will go talk to each other and then tell all your business to everyone else. Which was probably
that's
true.
It.
That's exactly what
that's how it works.
So they really did not talk about money very much, especially once they realized I was a child who would talk about their business. But I do recall just being aware, cognizant of money. Like, both of my parents were, let's say, my dad was a civil servant, so just worked an administrative job with the government, and my mom has always been a teacher. And those two, especially teaching, but those have been historically underpaid jobs everywhere in the world.
Everywhere, yes.
So I was aware of the fact that we sometimes did not have very much. We had low periods where we were truly in poverty, and just eating the bare minimum. But then there were times when we were comfortable, and my mom always grew a little garden with some plant that we would eat. And so that was helpful. And she had chickens.
Oh my gosh.
That also helped us.
Yes.
And we were, like I said, living in the country, so we would often, it was not a bad place to not have much.
Right.
Because we would often like exchange or get, fruits and vegetables from neighbors and things like that. So
the land in some ways sustains you a bit.
Exactly. But I was aware that funds were tight a lot of times, and
for two professional parents, that's interesting because, again, the American dream is supposed to be you become those things, a teacher, a civil servant, and you've done the work. You've done what you're supposed to do to have that middle class lifestyle. And even though you weren't living in America, you'd think that fundamental thing would be
enough.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I will say, again, in rural places, really, they're not typically rich places.
Right.
So we were, in comparison with our community, we were probably middle class.
Yeah.
But there were 4 children.
Okay.
And I think we did not get to a point as a family where we could, for example, buy a house. I'm the last of 4 children, and the first house we bought was when I was 13.
Okay.
So, and that's still the house that my parents have. And so, like, getting to that point of stability, it took a very long time with, like I said, many highs and lows in the process.
How did you, because I remember when my parents first bought their home, it was actually in 6th grade, so I was 12.
Yeah.
So around that same point, up until then, they basically rented in order to get us into the neighborhoods that we would need to be into because they prioritized education, right?
Right.
So I'm curious, and I still remember the house and walking into it and how excited I was that, like, this is going to be our house. Do you remember that feeling, and what did they say, or what do you remember them saying about kind of, okay, here it is, kids,
Well, it really is my mom's house. She was the one who put in the work, the saving, and chose it and purchased it because she was tired of renting, and so she wanted a house. That said, it was a fixer-upper. So it was not particularly nice looking, but I was still excited.
Sure.
And when we got there, we made it nice.
Yeah.
I remember painting that living room every Christmas.
Oh,
And,
that's
painting
great.
the walls and making it our home.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciated the sacrifice and the work she put in so that our family could own a house,
Right.
because it probably would not have happened without her concentrating on it so much.
Right.
You know?
Right. You know, and that's kind of like a lot of financial goals. I mean, that's kind of what I would try and tell my clients is, you know, you can have the dream all you want, but if you aren't actually putting the time and the effort into the very practical, like one foot in front of the other, it often doesn't happen. So kudos to your mom, because yeah, it is, she wanted that. She wanted that, and what a proud moment for her. I hope that she is super proud of herself for making that happen. So, well, good. So what do you feel like you learned from your parents and how to manage money now? Or
it was interesting. I definitely learned scarcity. And I learned that
how to do more with less.
that you could still do a lot with a little bit. I, at some point in my early teens, started budgeting, but on my own. I just kind of figured it out because I also didn't have much. I didn't really get, I'm forgetting the word.
An allowance?
Yes, that's the word. I didn't really get an allowance.
Sure.
I got travel money. So the money I would, enough money to get me to school and back for the month, that's what I would get. And so sometimes I would save by not taking a taxi from here to here. I just have a little section where I walk most of the way or part of the way. And because by that time when we moved to the house, and then I started going to secondary school, high school, nothing was walking distance anymore. Everything was transportation. So I would save out of my travel money to get my spending money, and I would save all year so that I could buy gifts for my friends at Christmas, or I would have those aims of
I love it.
very
so
specific things.
Yes.
Yeah, so that taught me to budget.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and to find ways to save, because it was a limited resource.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is such a valuable lesson.
Absolutely.
You have a regimented amount. Nobody's going to give you any more. And if you want to have some money for discretionary things, you're going to have to find it in that. It is a very valuable lesson. And I think a lot can be learned from scarcity. It doesn't have to rule your life. It can be something that allows you to persevere. And so that's really encouraging.
Yeah.
So what would you consider up until now your money moment in life? What do you think, what kind of major win or major oopsie would you want to share with your friends, your family, folks that you care about, that you want them to know about how to manage money?
Yeah. Well, for me, I think my money moment was a very long period of time. It wasn't one moment.
Okay, yeah.
It was when I finished secondary school, and I had about 3 years before I started college. And so 2 of those years I was working, each year literally a different job.
Oh, okay.
But over that
what jobs?
time,
I'm curious.
So over that time, my first year I was at home watching MTV videos.
It was a gap year. It was a gap year.
A gap year, yes. I had a gap year. And then I was a teacher.
Okay.
Yes, I was a teacher. And
Of course.
yes, 'cause I was a nerd. I did used to tutor. Once I got to a level, I would tutor the people at the level below me.
Okay,
So-
and you know what? That is the smartest. That's a money moment right there.
Yeah, that is.
The concept that you really only need to know as much as the person you're teaching, plus like a bit more, and
That's
then
true.
you're good. And
That
then
is
you're
true.
good, and you can use that as a resource. Smart move.
That was my first entrepreneurial activities.
Yeah.
was tutoring.
I mean, for real.
yeah.
Well done.
But yeah, like I said, first year I was teaching, and then second year I was a journalist.
Okay.
Yeah, I had been a journalist kind of as a hobby, as an unpaid hobby for many years, because I like to write.
Yeah.
So I'd write articles. And
Well, getting
went to the
paid to write
newspaper.
anything is an accomplishment. So.
Well, yes, true. And so, because of that, those years of proving myself, I was able to get a job with the newspaper that I'd been writing articles for since I was a teenager. So, that was a really good job and year. I really enjoyed that. But I knew it wasn't my life career. That's probably a good thing, because journalism is getting more and more, I don't know, just covered up or not as valued
Mhm.
as it used to be.
Oh, certainly, and
So-
and not as valued as in not paid for
Not
properly
paid for.
in ways that can keep it objective. A lot of
Exactly.
times, yeah.
Exactly.
I hear you.
So yeah, I shifted, but those 2 years were enough for me to save up enough money to take the SATs, apply to colleges, and fly to school.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
So it was, I somehow saved up a pretty big nest egg for just 2 years of
Yeah.
working.
Well, you were grinding. That's
yeah.
not, I mean, 2 years of hard work.
Yeah.
And good for you, because a lot of people, that gap year goes a lot longer than first planned. So,
Right. True.
yeah. Okay, so that's amazing. And what would you say your kind of revelation from that was?
I would say, because that was a big launching pad
Mhm.
for my life since then, it is just, once you can set your sights on that first goal,
Oh,
in
I
my
love
case was getting to college.
Yes.
and which in my case required me to be looking outside of Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
So once you set your sights on that first goal and save and practice budgeting and practice just discipline to the point where you can jump
Yeah.
and achieve that goal, I think that is a true launching pad for the whole rest of your life.
It helps you trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That like, oh, excuse me. That like, oh, I can do this. I actually, it's not some elusive something. It's like one small thing at a time. And then trusting that at the end of that road, you're going to be able to jump and launch and do something. That is, oh my gosh, so amazing. I love that. I love that so much.
And I definitely learned that from my mom, because, watching her save for her house.
Yeah.
And even in helping me to, I guess, be financially eligible to come to the U.S. for school, we needed to show someone's bank account, the household bank account.
Yeah.
So,
somebody was doing something.
Yes, and so
yeah.
she saved up enough to have enough in the bank account
excellent.
so that I was able to look good enough to get my visa and to go.
Oh,
so that
that's
was,
amazing.
even that was just a huge help and a huge lesson. So even though I had the cash on hand,
Mhm.
I didn't have like the financial background to qualify for things, right?
Yeah.
Which can be a barrier for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Especially in terms of like having a credit background or
Right.
anything like that.
Well, that is, I mean, literally, it's the only reason to be responsible. I mean, if you aren't planning to like buy a whole bunch of stuff and do a whole bunch of stuff, then it's like, who cares about a credit score? Well, this is why. This is why you care about showing that you have assets enough, just enough. Showing that you can be credit worthy, that you can buy things on credit and actually pay for them. This is why. It's not about the stuff itself. It's about that mentality that your mom had, that she taught you, that now you have, where you are responsible about money and budgeting. And because you don't know who has that mentality versus who doesn't, that showing that to people who are going to take a risk on you in some sort of way, that's super important. And it's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
So that's amazing. Oh my gosh, so excited about this, seriously. So what would you do differently, would you say, as far as your financial kind of journey in life? Or what would you want to improve on, I'll say?
I would say I've probably lost, not lots of money, but I've lost money taking chances that didn't work out, which is normal and probably healthy. I just wonder, one, had I been more careful with my chances, if that money would even have been enough to matter now, or, But then the other side of it is there are some chances I didn't take. Like, I've had entrepreneurial ideas my whole life, but I didn't, I was thinking probably I could start something in college, but I never did, right? And so even thinking, what were the lost opportunities of the chances I didn't take?
Sure.
And so it's striking this balance between, all right, being willing to take chances, which means you're going to lose sometimes.
Right.
But, how much, I guess, risk are you willing to take up?
Risk? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And that's like a constant question. It is a constant question. I think you're right. You can't make a whole lot of money if you aren't risking a little bit. But I think that's also why the diversification conversation is so important, because you do want to have those places in your life where you're taking those risks, especially when you do have that entrepreneurial spirit. And I know that about you. And so, I think that's right. I think it is right to be doing that. I think it's also right to have a backup plan. My mom was always about the backup plan. So, it's like, I am doing this certification over here that I'm going to try and get some random clients and this and that, but I have a day job. And so I do think that, especially when it comes to your income, it's important to have that secondary piece where if you're going to spend money and make an investment, and it's a risky investment, that on the income side, you've got some level of stability, Yes. But it is what it is. You can't win without taking some risk. That is the nature of the game. So, but it is true that balance is a tough one. It's a tough one. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most positive, how positive is your outlook about your financial situation? I mean, to me, I'll just tell you, to me, it sounds like you are remarkably clear-headed about, how to set financial goals, which honestly, that is the thing that you would think that it would be difficult for people, but that's the thing that really stymies people. Is just, okay, what do I want to do in my financial life? What am I aiming for? And the other thing that stymies people is another thing that I happen to know you do well, and that's prioritize. You can't have all of the things all of the time. So if you are focused on one thing at a time, your mom was focused on a house. If she had been focused on a house and a car and oh my gosh, I got to put my kid into school and all of that stuff, that would have been very difficult. So, curious.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would put my financial outlook at 8.
Okay.
For many of those reasons. I don't know if the discipline might be the right word, mm-hmm. but I can cut down in one place, or like in lifestyle, for example, to be able to fund tuition, which is why I'm trying to finish school.
Yes.
I'm tired of cutting down my lifestyle to finish school. But
you're almost there though. You are almost there.
I'm getting there. Pushing through. Like being able to make sacrifices to focus and get to your goals mm-hmm. is a positive trait that has gotten me a lot further in life than I imagine I would have had I been less stringent about my financial health.
Right.
But I would also say that I feel like most of the positives of all the work I've done, I still feel it's in the future. Right?
Yeah.
Especially
the reaping time is to come.
It's still to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will say 8 because I'm stable and I know what it's like to not be stable.
Yeah.
And I am grateful to be stable.
Yes.
And I also think 8 I think is pretty high because but I think I deserve an 8 because I have been literally doing a doctorate one class at a time for years. I refuse to take a loan. Nothing wrong with taking a loan.
That's amazing.
That's a good system if it works for you. I'm not comfortable with it.
Well,
when I started, I had another loan I was paying off. So
yeah, exactly. And when you're done, you're like, I'm done with this. Whatever I make from here on out is what I make.
Mine. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
This
I've been
is
taking
genius.
it one class at a time.
You're clever.
And it's slow, but I'm making progress.
Oh my gosh! And this is just such an inspiration, honestly, because I'm gonna cry a little bit. It's such an inspiration because it tells people that you can have these goals, you can work towards these goals, you can have faith in yourself that you will make it to the goal. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, taking a loan is, like you said, it's totally fine to do that. Taking a loan is fine, but if you don't have certainty on the other side of that you're going to be able to pay that loan off, then maybe that's not the right path for you. Or if you just, like you're saying, I was already paying this other loan, so I'm not comfortable taking another loan. That is okay. It doesn't have to hinder the path that you're on toward your goal. And that is so amazing. I'm want to dance for you. So great. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think you deserve an 8 as well. Get it. And I also believe for you that the reaping will come. Like, it always pays off. I mean, it's a very linear thing. Time and money are very linear things. They come in, they come out. You can't budget what you don't have. And we manage time as a resource in that fashion. And I think we need to all kind of accept money in that same way. You can't budget what you don't have. And if you want to feel good about how you're moving through life, sometimes you have to make the sacrifice in different places, in different ways. And so for you, that's time. You've taken more time, but it's given you a calm spirit about your budget, the budget aspect of it. So I think this is so awesome, and congratulations. I can't wait for you to finish, as I know you will. So anything else you want to tell me, or tell all the peeps about, all the many, many people listening about your origin story?
Mm, I would say slow and steady wins the race. I'm still waiting to win, but I have been slow and steady, and I can see the finish line. And I also want to say that I think appearances is not worth losing your peace and your stability.
Your peace of mind, yes.
Yes, I
that part.
Recognize that it is, honestly, it's the culture. People want to look good, and and more people are. It's not called keeping up with the Joneses anymore, but it is the same thing. It's that you're trying to live this lifestyle that you see on, say, social media, or that you see among other people in the community.
There's a whole episode about money dysmorphia, and that's one thing that we were talking about is, like, you're not keeping up with the Joneses. You're keeping up with the Kardashians, or it's impossible. It's impossible to keep up with people who don't live in your neighborhood, are not part of your social circle. Like, you can't keep up with them. Just stop trying. Yeah. Just be you.
Exactly.
It's okay.
I really, so sometimes I do have to just tell myself I do not need XYZ. My car is a solid teenager.
Yeah.
That I am grateful is not falling apart.
That's right. That's right.
But
cars are expensive these days too.
Yes.
Yes. It's wild.
But it's like I look around and I see, for example, with my car, right? I will be in a parking lot. My car is definitely the jankiest looking one in that whole parking lot.
You win.
And I'm like, you know what? It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
It gets you from A to B.
It does its job.
You are not riding the bus.
Exactly. And when I was riding the bus, that was stressful, but that also had its place.
It's just gonna. Right. I'm gonna tell you, like, there was a time where my mother rode the bus to work, like, hours a day, and that's what I think about when I think about my 10-year-old plus car, and we were the type of family, we drove things into the ground, and there's no reason why I shouldn't be that person today. Like you said, at a certain point, I will relent, I'm sure, and be like, okay, it's time. But until it starts doing me wrong,
there's no reason to.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hallelujah.
With cars, fix it before it breaks.
That part too. And do not keep fixing it if it is real broke. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love you. Thank you for coming. All right. Thank you guys for listening in. This is your financial therapy for this week. I'll be back next week with another episode.